The leader of the opposition say, taxpayers' money. This project that we are doing is taxpayers' money, and we must get the most value for it. Mid-P was taxpayers' money. Even more money because interest on it. And he was silent then, when there was absolutely no question being asked by him or anyone else about what was the negotiated price. At least under this, whatever we negotiate will be public. When they were negotiating, it was all quiet, nobody knew anything. But yet they come now to talk, and has the nerve to stand up in Parliament and ask whether or not the Integrity Commission will be a part of the process. We had already decided that on the negotiating team will be a representative of the Integrity Commission. And you know why that is so hypocritical? When they decided that they would engage the government of China to develop Goat Island as a harbor. Don't know whether you remember that. The contractor general then, which has now evolved into the Integrity Commission, asked to see the negotiations going forward. The then Minister of Transport and Works said, no, you can't see anything. No transparency. And you know what he did? He took the contractor general to court to avoid disclosing anything about the negotiations for Goat Island. And now, the now leader of the opposition, then Minister of Justice, has the nerve to come and talk about transparency. It leaves me to wonder, in whose interest are they speaking? We engaged with our strategic partners, the Chinese, to continue the infrastructure development. There has been talk about a perimeter road around Montego Bay for more than 20 years. Talk. We looked at everything and we said our budget and our capital expenditure is such that we don't need to go the route of a loan. That is a big man decision. That is a mature decision. That is a bold decision. For once in our life, as a country, we make a bold step to say we can do it out of our own resources and we don't have to borrow to do it.
Excellent.
But more than that, not engaging in a bilateral program ensures that the program is more transparent. We have nothing to hide about this program. And everything that we are doing is in the law. Who it is that conceived that it would be necessary at times for the government to engage directly with a contractor and came to Parliament in 2015 and passed that law. Who did it? The same man was the Minister of Justice. He crafted that law. He wrote it. He reviewed it and approved it and brought it to Parliament. He would have. The law provides for us to negotiate directly with a contractor if the project is declared of strategic, pioneer, and developmental imperative. The law provides for us to negotiate directly with a contractor if the project is declared of strategic, pioneer, and developmental imperative. There is no question that the Montego Bay bypass is strategic. It is pioneering. It is of national importance. Now, having engaged with the Chinese, and then having looked at our situation, and we took the decision that we would no longer borrow, We will no longer engage in a bilateral agreement for construction, that we will now fund it from our budget. We had to acknowledge that our partners, China Harbour, had already started work on this project, that they would have already spent on this project, that they would have already started the planning and design on the project. So they, more than anyone else, would have an understanding of the project. They would have done so in good faith. It is important for countries in the exercise of their diplomatic policies that good faith always is a part of our negotiations. We as the government would be spending from our public resources immediately. This is a better arrangement than going bilaterally. There is no question that the project is of national importance, and therefore it fit the criteria established in law for the government to act. Now, there is a valid argument to be made. How do we ensure value for money when we proceed along this option? Now, I am of the view that in proceeding along this option, we are already better off than if we had gone the bilateral route of borrowing to fund the project directly. We are already better off, because from day one, we are no longer paying interest. If we had gone the route of a competitive tender, which is the suggestion that is being made, here are some of the challenges that we would have to overcome. Number one, China Harbour would be the front runner by virtue of their previous involvement. Other contractors would be saying China Harbour knows the project and therefore they couldn't compete fairly with China Harbour in a bid. So immediately, that is what is the setup. So China Harbour would have had to be excluded. Exactly. And then they would probably have a claim to say, listen, we proceeded in good faith to develop this thing. So in any event, we would have some kind of obligation to repay. Now I hear the leader of the opposition say, well, it's probably good, we should just pay them. All right. You see, the very thing, because I could tell you, that if we had done that, it would be the same man standing up in Parliament and say, why you pay them? So that's one point. Okay, so let's say we went that route. The other problem would have been, for the time it would take for new contractors now to come in, to get the full understanding of the project, to start over. In another 2 years' time, you would be probably looking to start. You would go through 1 year, at minimum, at best, of procurement. And you know what would happen? The price that we start at now would move by at least 20% by the time we're ready to start. So how they can claim that they are in the interest of the people and we're looking for efficiency and we're looking for transparency and we're looking for the best way, and they are not thinking about these issues?
Politics.
Why?
Politics.
Why would they want to scuttle and slow down and literally cripple the government in moving quickly? Why? It comes down to politics. The other issue is whether or not Jamaicans will benefit. Yes, Jamaican contractors are going to benefit. Most of the work will have to be contracted out anyway. It is in China Harbour's interest to subcontract most of the work. And we are going to ensure that that process of subcontracting is transparent as well. Then there is the issue, will Jamaicans get the work? Will they be able to get the unskilled labor? Will they be able to get skilled labor? The answer to that is we have placed in our contract and in the conditions 90% of the labor must be Jamaicans. I think the people who are talking now should answer what was the agreement for labor under mid-P, and was that value for money? We have put in place a measure to say that if you're going to use skilled labor, at least you must ensure that there is a Jamaican there through a system of apprenticeship and training that will be able to get the skills transfer and the technology transfer. You know, you talk about, boy, you can write anything on paper. Yes, you can write anything on paper. But this government has demonstrated that what it places on paper, it will supervise and it will ensure that it is implemented to give value for money to the people.